Ultimate Masters is mere days away. What is possibly the greatest and most in-demand reprint-packed set also comes with what is possibly the highest price, or does it? As the almighty invisible hand of the marketplace may be offering players, not in Britain, Australia, Canada, or Brazil, this value-packed set at a value-packed price. But who cares about all that? Is $1,000 a good price for a case of Ultimate Masters? Yeah, probably, I guess, but I don't have $1,000 and neither do you. So let's talk about some awesome and powerful 10-cent cards that we can pick up at our local game stores to add to or build around in Pauper. That's right. Promptly, the professor proudly presents powerful Pauper playable pickups of previously Pauper prohibited pieces. This episode has so much P in it. Everywhere P. So Ultimate Masters not only reprinted a slew of high-cost Pauper cards like Chainer's Edict and Slippery Bogle, ensuring that we players can now pick these up for mere pennies at our local game store once again, but no fewer than 20. Read that 20 cards were downshifted to common in this set, making them all Pauper legal. But what effect is this going to have on Pauper as a format? Arena Athlete, Canker Abomination, Damir Guild Mage, Fire and Ice, Foil, Groundskeeper Willy, Lotus Eye Mystics, Mammoth Umbra, Miming Slime, Moan of the Unhallowed, Molten Birth, Offal Snout, Reckless Worm, Resurrection, Sky Spear Cavalry, Slum Reaper, Spark Spitter, Tethos High Priest, Vessel of Endless Rest, and Wandering Champion are now all legal in Pauper. But off of this list, I, the professor, am picking 5 Pauper pieces that I feel have the best shot of making the Pauper scene. What will the number 1 downshifted card most likely to have an impact in Pauper be? You'll have to sit through this entire video list to the end to hear me say that that number 1 pick is Foil. Oh, no, my audience retention numbers, oh. Foil! They reprinted Foil in Pauper. Are they insane? Blue did not need to be juiced. It had plenty juice. Blue juice all over the place. Blue has always been the most powerful color in the format, with Delver of Secrets and Brainstorm and Ponder and Preordain and Counterspell and Gush. Gush! The format has Gush, and someone, I don't know who, but I bet it was Gavin Verhey, I accuse you, Gavin, looked at Pauper and said, you know what the format with Gush needs? Foil. This card is bananas good. Mono Blue Delver just became the most powerful deck in the format. Again. I don't think it's hyperbole to say that the legality of Foil will need to see a ban in response. Though many are saying that that ban is going to go not to Foil, but to Gush. Either way, myself and other Pauper players can't gush enough about this overpowered downshift. So okay, fine. Foil is the number 1 best downshift in Ultimate Masters. But what's number 2? I'll get there, but you have to stay to the end. And first, an honorable mention to the card I think is the most interesting of the 20, just in terms of what it brings to Pauper. I don't think it's going to quite get there as far as adding to a deck that already exists or making its own build. Not yet, anyway. But it's a card in the future I think is going to see some Pauper play because it's strong and unique and has me so excited, and that is Groundskeeper. Groundskeeper is only 1 green mana for a 1/1 human druid with the fascinating ability where, for 1 and a green, you can return target basic land card from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, I just wish we could make this work now, but I think it's still missing something. Now, like I said, we've just gotten Foil reprinted, which lets us consider a Simic strategy of countering a spell by discarding 2 islands, possibly 2 that we return to our hand with Gush, and then using this card to bring them back to our hand. It's just a very nice effect to reclaim those islands or whatever basic lands have ended up in our graveyard. Maybe this can enable one day a retrace engine with cards like Raven's Crime, or perhaps it will find a home in Tortured Existence builds. But I feel that none of these strategies really work enough with the card to justify it having an impact in Pauper yet. And the existence of cards like Tilling Treefolk in Pauper, which can achieve the same effect but for less, and with a better blocker on the field, mean that this is not necessarily going to make waves in Pauper as of today. But it's got a lot of potential, and I think one day we might see a new common card that is just what Groundskeeper needs to suddenly become very relevant. But never mind oddities and interesting effects. Let's talk cards that we've wanted in Pauper for a while now. Out of the shadows and on theme for Guilds of Ravnica is the fan favorite, Damir Guild Mage, downshifted to common and now Pauper legal. Damir Guild Mage is a 2/2 human wizard for 2 hybrid mana of blue-black, meaning that this can be run in mono-blue or mono-black builds, or just paid for with 1 blue and 1 black, and it lets target player draw a card for 3 and a blue, or target player discard a card for 3 and a black. There's a lot to like about this limited all-star, the first of which is that the double hybrid mana means it offers double black devotion, which might make it find a home as a 1 of, or possibly 2 of, in decks like mono black control. I mean, it works very well in that regard with Gary, and it might take the spot of at least 1 copy of Kumbhajai Witches, offering that same double black devotion but with a different effect. And since Tron is, surprise, surprise, overwhelmingly good in Pauper, and it has mana to burn, I think that means Damir Guildmage could be put to good use there. And of course, since both blue and black are potent staples in everything from blue-black teachings to Delver, even if the Guildmage doesn't make it to the main board, then it can have a home sneaking in the shadows of many lists' sideboard. But coming in at number 4 is a card that loves the number 2. It's another fascinating ability for this format of commons, and it's recurring a lot of interest in decks that run white. And that card, of course, is Tethmos High Priest. Good kitty. Tethmos High Priest is a 2/3 cat cleric for 2 and a white that has my beloved heroic trigger on it, so that whenever you cast a spell that targets Tethmos High Priest, return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. I just love heroic in Pauper, and mono white is still without a doubt an extremely affordable and powerful Pauper deck. Does the High Priest have a place in it? I actually don't think so, but I do think that this card is going to find some play in Pauper, just in other lists. You see, when I think white and converted mana cost 2, I think of Sky Kitty, otherwise known as Core Sky Fisher. Cast an aura like Cartouche of Solidarity on the High Priest. The Cartouche triggers, return Sky Fisher to the battlefield, bounce the aura, cast it again, maybe this time on Sky Fisher, and swing on in? Yes, please. There's endless combos here, and this is a card that not only slots into some existing builds, but just screams build around me. Brewers, start your engines. Priest Kitty might just be the hero you have been waiting for. Next up at number 3 is a card that is largely inspired by the real-life War of the Roses. This card takes place in a fictional world in which seasons last for years and end unpredictably. The card chronicles the power struggle for the Iron Throne among the great houses of Westeros following the death of King Robert and... what? Oh, that's the popular series of novels, A Song of Fire and Ice. This downshifted card is just fire and ice? All right, fire and ice. Is it? It is. Fire and Ice is a split card where you can choose between the following for 1 and a red. Fire deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. Or for 1 and a blue, tap target permanent, draw a card. Izzet has been having great success in Pauper lately, with Delver and Blitz lists hitting the tops of the rankings, and so a brand new downshifted Izzet card is only going to make these powerful decks more powerful. This is better than Twin Bolt, a card that Izzet Delver, and Blitz lists have already been using in limited degrees. But here we have added function and cantrip, which can coincidentally be exactly what helps to pump up the reliability of these lists. The Fireside can take out everything from tokens to Delvers to flipped Delvers, while the Ice side can chill the big bad blocker and give your hand one more card. I love versatility like this, and I love when cards like this enter the format, and the perfect slot is in red and blue. This is a great pickup for Pauper. Alright, the number 1 card is obviously foil, we went over that, but coming in at number 2, it's a card that's all about bringing things back. It happens to bring me back to my high school days, playing Revised and Fallen Empires on the playground blacktop. Even then I used sleeves, boys and girls. I really did. The card that has been around since Alpha. It's white, and it gives Pauper its first true, non-conditional reanimator effect. And that card is Resurrection. 2 white and 2 mana of any color. Return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. No fuss, no muss. This is so exciting because it's the first true reanimator spell Pauper has ever had. Previously, even cards like Exhume had drawbacks, such as giving our opponents a reanimated creature as well. But Resurrection opens the door for hardcore reanimator builds and breaks us out of the previously locked-in colors of red and black. Now, red-black reanimator is a potent enough deck and has climbed the charts many times in the past, but has never quite broken through to the mainstays of Pauper power. Can Resurrection give birth to a new and improved reanimator list? I mean, Mardu can do, but going 3 color is hard in Pauper, and I'd push instead to find a red-white reanimator list, ditching black altogether and trying to go big or go home by cheating in big beaters like Ulamog's Crusher, or possibly enabling a recursion combo. And yes, I will admit there is a certain nostalgia to seeing this Alpha card now Pauper legal. You can bet I am digging up my white border revised copies to resurrect that childhood feeling in my next Pauper game. And that next Pauper game could be with you if you are going to be playing at GP Portland. I'm bringing my Pauper decks for the daily Pauper events at the GP, just as every GP now has daily Pauper events and Fire on Demand Pauper at Turbo Town. So if you're in the area for GP Portland, come on in and play against me and probably win, let's be honest. But I want to hear from you now. What cards from this list of 20 do you think will make a difference in Pauper and why? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, the place to go to know all things Pauper is the subreddit at r/Pauper. Go check it out if you're interested in starting this format or just want to talk about all things common. And this video is brought to you by my and many other people's local game store, Card Kingdom, a brick-and-mortar pillar of this community, as well as the Patreon support of viewers such as you. These are the people that keep Tolarian Community College going and growing strong. So thank you.